Namo Sakamuni Buddha. Dear Master and everyone, I would like to share about this Dhamma door, Patriarch Chan. Usually we emphasize on the practice. If we, according to my experience, if we just rely on understanding using this brain, and we just keep sharing about the teaching without the practice, then it's very hard to grasp. It's very hard to say. But if we try to practice, if we be diligent in the practice, then to the point, whenever we see people who practice, then you will be able to understand and compatible. This Dhamma, there's two criteria. One, believe in own mind, and the second is the Dhamma is to give rise to doubt. Believing in the own mind is not easy. It's not just the saying. Believing in the own mind, we need to practice. We have to experience ourselves through the practice. It's just like drinking water, hot and cold, you will understand, you know. If we have this experience, then when we share to our experience for other people, if they don't practice, then they will not understand what you're talking about. So this is the problem. So the practice is very necessary, very important. For believing in the own mind, we need to know that has to do the right faith and deviant faith. The right view, right faith is to eradicate self-attachment. How do we practice? So that we can don't get attached to subjective and objective. This is to leave behind subjective and objective, and we don't accept and we don't attach to anything that is real. So if we eradicate self-attachment, that is right view, that is right faith, right belief. If we don't eradicate self-attachment, if we and that is a deviant view, deviant faith, not right. If we practice, if we still attached to existence or non-existence, if we attach to this, then that is deviant. That is not the right belief. If we study Buddha Dhamma, if we understand in a way that is not right, according to eradicate self-attachment, then our practice is not so this Dhamma, we have this booklet. It's very thin, but it's very important. But it's very important for practitioners, especially who practice this Dhamma. So we are, as Buddhists, we want to study the Buddha Dhamma. We want to be just like the Buddha himself. We don't need to study a lot. There are so many experiences. There are many skillful means. If we study the Buddha Dharma, and if we get to the point, if we know the practice, then we will save time, and we try to stay on the practice. We don't need to spend a lot of time to study and learn all the teaching from the Buddha. Just I think we just understand and maintain one practice. If I guarantee it doesn't matter how much you know, but at the end you may not remember. So whenever you find the right experience or the practice, then we need to continue to be close to the Dharma friends, be close with the good no advisors, so that we can strengthen belief in our own mind. Just like the path of practice, and we need to understand this path clearly. The experience from other people, from the Buddhist followers, many of them, they attend a retreat, and then they share about their experience, and they share about what they have learned, what they have experienced through the practice. And then at the same time, we will be able to understand when we listen to the Dharma talk from the teacher, and then from Dharma friends. And then also we will listen to the teacher from their remind us to practice, to maintain the practice. And this is very helpful, very beneficial. As example, like myself, when I didn't encounter this Dharma, I practice the mindfulness. I practice mindfulness. So the knowledge, the general knowledge, right now, it's just like myself when I began to practice this Dharma. So like mindfulness is like when we walk, we know when we walk. When we drink, when we know we drink. And everything we do, we know what we're doing. That is called mindfulness. Like when we talk, when we look at things, when we speak. This is just a general knowledge. So now, so my friends now they are practicing these methods. So they have the same understanding, the same knowledge I used to have. But when I encountered this Dharma door, when I read the verse in the platform sutra, and the verses in the great sutra, and usually they mention existent, non-existent, and the Buddha said existent but not existent, non-existent but non-existent. So like 6 pages mentioned darkness, day and night, darkness and brightness. So like move and unmove. So this is the opposite. This is all the opposites. So the Buddha Dharma, when we study and we practice, we need to get out of the relative. If it's when we're talking about mindfulness, in the platform sutra, the 6 pages said, if we have thought, we know that is thought, then that is deviant. When we know that is no thought arise, then that is the proper thought. But this no thought versus thought, having thought and having no thought, this is still relative. So like knowing and not knowing is. So when we're talking about mindfulness, we need to take us out. We have to understand it leave behind the duality, which is. So we have to ask ourselves, what practice that is compatible with this meaning. So this is why the Buddha have taught us for 22 years prajna. He mentioned about the prajna, wisdom in Patriarch's teaching. It mentioned about Ngiten meaning the Ngiten is the wondering thought, the thought of wondering, and Ngiten, and this is also considered to be prajna. So that's why in this Lama Do, they emphasize on this practice. This practice is. So if without this, then we will not be able to get out of relative, the duality. So in the Heart Sutra, it mentioned the Buddha from the three times, past, present, and future. They rely on this prajna to get to the state of enlightenment, to Buddhahood. So so this is the meaning, a perfect body mind, a complete body mind is to return to no attending, no seeking. So for this practice, we don't need to talk much. We just know that we have to take time. We have to cherish the time. We just try to get familiar with the practice. We just try to ask a question, keep repeating, asking the question again and again. So we just ask a question, keep asking the question until we give rise to doubt. So for ourselves, we have to be taken serious or be sincere with ourselves. And then if we practice, we will have the experience. If we don't practice, we will not have the experience. And when they talk, and when we listen to what they talk, we don't have any experience. We don't have a clue. We have to have experience our own on so when we have the practice, then people, when they talk, then we'll be able to understand, and we know what they are talking about. So that's what I want to share. The practice is very important. Okay, I invite both and Mai to speak. Dear all monks or nuns, I have a new petitioner, a beginner. She just received a booklet. She asked me to ask you. She have chosen one question of the 5. And she used to recite Buddha's name. She used to practice in the teaching school. Like when we believe the external power, we believe in the Buddha, the Amitabha Buddha. When she looked at the 5 questions, And she feel like without the word Buddha, she doesn't think that there's any external power helping her. So, can you explain the 5 questions in the booklet? We have to choose one that we wonder is the hardest for us to understand. So that's the question we need to get familiar with. Any question, it has some purpose. The intention to give rise to the wondering thought, the thought of wondering, the thought of knowing and understand, but cannot understand. Just try to get familiar with the question.
Mình phải chọn ra một cái câu nào mà mình cảm thấy thắc mắc nhiều á, thì đó là cái câu để cho mình làm quen.
Yeah, she's not clear.
Bất cứ câu thoại đầu nào á, nó cũng có cái tác dụng giống nhau hết à.
The point here is about external power and self power. When we're talking about external power and self power, it's not different. We cannot say we just follow external power, not the self nature, but vice versa. It's like ourselves when we grow up. We need food, we need air, we need advice from other people. Those are the external power, the surrounding, everything. That is external power. So external power and self power is one, is supporting each other. So on the practice, we need to get to the state that we be able to control our own destiny, our own. You are self master. So the question for the self nature, for the question we ask is actually leading us to the origin of the of ignorance, the origin of the consciousness. Is that so? Thank you, appreciate it. Anyone who has any question? This Dhammadho, I myself would like to encourage people to get familiar with the practice. It's very important. For myself, when I have the condition, the affinity with this Dhammadho, then I focus on the practice, and I try to get familiar with the practice. Asking the question from people to people is different. The way we ask a question is different. So for the practice, we need to give ourselves an opportunity, a chance, so that we can practice, so that we can get experience and try to make judgment on asking the question. If we just listen without the practice, then we will not be able to understand, not be able to comprehend. There is a Buddhist. This lady, she read this book, Tín Tâm Minh Tịch Nghệ Dạy, which is believed in and she asked Master Whaley, and she said, when I read this book, I don't have a clue. I don't have an understanding. And he said, yes, because your practice is not to the point. If you practice to the point, then you will understand. You will understand the text. So the practice is very important. If we diligent on the practice, if we really want to participate in the Dharma discussion, any teaching that you understood, you will be able to understand the intention. Then you will understand the intention, and you forget the language, the saying, the text. If without the practice, it's not easy to understand. It's just like the Buddha talking this way, that way. So it seems like it's contradicting. So when you listen to this monk talking this way, the other monk talking the other way, and it's really contradicting. If without the practice, you will encounter this. So the practice is very important. If you listen, so we're talking about the mind. If all the dharmas is created from the mind alone. So if you have a clear mind, then you will be able to understand clearly, and you'll be able to speak correctly and clearly. So according to the principle, to the right meaning, then actually is really eradicate the self-attachment. If we practice in a way that is not really eradicate self-attachment, we need to practice according to the principle, to the Dhamma that you are practicing. If we don't practice according to the principle, it doesn't matter how you practice, and eventually it turn out to be deviant path. So if the deviant Dharma, when the person, the proper person, or the person who can turn the deviant Dharma into a proper Dharma. But the person who is deviant, they speak proper Dharma, it can in turn to deviant Dharma. So don't try to make it hard on yourself. It's just like myself. Just choose the one question, like my question. Before heaven and earth came into existence, what was I? So just continue asking. Before heaven and earth came into existence, what was I? So just try to practice silently. So just try to get familiar with this. And then the next, we will be able to understand. You'll be able to. So if we're not familiar, we have to have this basic fundamental of the practice. Then we'll be able to understand the next step. So when we come to the retreat, the benefit of everyone. We have the sitting and walking meditation, so we use this opportunity to get familiar with the practice. So this is my experience when I come to Từ Ân temple. And then whatever people do, I just pay attention to the practice and try to get familiar with the practice.
Thì đến thiền thất có cái lời là mình đi hương với tòa hương, là luôn luôn làm quen với công phu. Mình lợi dụng cái năng lực của đại chúng.
No, Amitabha Buddha.
Cứ bắt cái đà đó, cứ đi tới. Cho nên cái kinh nghiệm của
Dear Master, please share your experience about. In the beginning, we just want to, we just ask a question, keep repeating the question continuously. So how we do that so that we can get to the thought of wondering. So is it you are new to this practice? So I encourage you to get the book. Just keep reading this book again and again. We don't need to remember everything. We just try to have a general understanding, and then we begin to practice. So, what is the question that you chose? The first question I chose. Before heaven and earth came into existence, where was I? So you just get familiar with the practice. Get familiar with this question, asking this question. So when you ask the question, so of course, when you ask a question, you not be able to answer the question. You get stuck. Cái thử thách, challenge, thử thách. Thử thách, the challenge. Our challenge is when we ask a question and we cannot comprehend. Our challenge is to continue asking the question. So the state of not knowing, we not want to know, but we really don't know, don't understand. So that's our challenge. We'll keep asking the question. So in the beginning, there are many gaps coming in. There are gaps. So like when we first asking the question, the beginning of the question, key. So because we're not familiar, then if we don't continue asking the question, there are gaps in between. So because our consciousness, our mind is full of thoughts arise. So it's not right now. Don't try to pay attention to having doubt or not having doubt. So when we ask a question, get familiar with acquaintance about the question. So and then you try to be close to the good advisor or the teacher who practice this Dhamma, so that you can you'll be able to understand and strengthen your belief in the Dhamma and also the practice. And in the long run, you will be able to understand and also have a strong belief. And then when you believe, and then you feel you very fortunate that you are having this practice. And so this is the Dhamma that the Buddha himself actually transmit to Mahakassapa. So from generation to generation, so from the beginning, from the past until now, it's very clear. So when you practice and then you understand, then you will not be able to, you're not going to return and go back to the old practice, to the indirect practice. So we just ask question naturally. You can silently ask the question. So, like when we have distraction in our mind. So you can judge and you can correct yourself how to ask a question, slow, or fast, loud, or silent. So when we get to the
hỏi thầm được, giống như cái cách hỏi của thầy là mình từ điều Phật á, có khi cái tâm mình loạn,
so
có thể dính ga lên một chút.
Silent or out loud, asking the question silent or out loud is it doesn't matter. You have to make judgment on yourself.
Mình tự quyết định để cho mình giống như cân bằng để mình vào cái đà đó rồi mình đi tiếp.
We appreciate Master Fakir about sharing. So I would like to add some other thing. So Gautama has a friend who asked a question talking about self power and external power. Pure Land School. So it doesn't matter what Dhamma we are practicing. They all have self power and external power. But self nature is the main one. The external power is just secondary. So external power from the Buddha land, Pure Land, because people don't believe in their own mind. So then people will believe in Amitabha Buddha. But we believe in his vow, the 48 vows, 48 great vows. We need to practice on, not just bring forth the mind to practice. And then we practice on that 48 great vows. And so just like all beings are equal, do we practice in a way to have that equal mindset? Treat every beings equally. Do we eat all the beings flesh? So example, like when we just came from Vietnam to America, we just have a visa. But self-power, we don't have any external power, but we need like friends, like so like external power, like we rely on a company. So like the tourism. And so do they believe in us? They ask us for money. So if we don't provide them money, they will not help us. So actually it's start with the self-power. So like, so we pay, it's like we have to have a bank and we have to have money in the bank so that they believe in us. To have the U.S. government to believe, trust us so that they can provide us or issue us a visa. So that's the example. It's just similar to Amitabha's Buddha great vow. Like when we see the word Buddha, in Chinese it's Phó, in English it's a Buddha. So Vietnamese is Phật. It's not just the text, it's the meaning. And the meaning of this is enlightenment, awakening. So like the five questions, without the word Buddha, without external power, that is the superstitious. That's superstitious. Believe in superstition. That is will lead us to deviant path. So for this practice, we need to believe in our own mind. So in the Amitabha Pure Land, because we don't practice and we don't believe in our own mind yet. So the people who practice Pure Land school, and when they practice the 48 great vows, and they practice, and when they encounter proper Dharma, then they understand, and then they understand properly. The Buddha Dharma is not true. It's not dual. So when we practice the method called indirect method, and then up to, get to the point, then we will be able to, when we encounter this Dharma door, then we will believe in our self-power, and we don't see anything different. So the proper Dharma is very clearly the Buddha Dharma. And for the Pure Land school, it's like we take all the thoughts, we gather all the thoughts to have just one thought. So for this practice, we let go of all thoughts. So this is just an experience. Because we don't believe in the meaning of prajna, the meaning of non-duality. So that's why we still have wishes, we still have the mind of seeking. So the complete meaning of the Buddha Dharma is actually believe in non-duality. So we have to have the right belief. And right belief is to eradicate self-attachment. So if we believe in anything that is miraculous, that is so is beyond description, this is still subjective and objective. That is not Buddha Dharma. Buddha Dharma is non-duality. So that's why this call is non-duality Dharma door. So if we have the practice, then we will have the belief, the right belief. And then when we practice, we will be able to have a question, raise question, anything that we get stuck in our mind. So that is, that's what we consider we're still walking on the enlightenment path, the path of enlightenment. So all the saying, all the text, written text, it's just the explanation. If you don't get attached to it, just maintain the practice, then you will be able to have a clear understanding. So if you think it's right or wrong, then it's still in the, we fall into the false states of attachment. That is the relative, that's duality. So when we try to describe thought of wandering, we have to have experience on the practice. Then we'll be able to understand the example. Just have to practice. So in this methods, the patrons keep reminding us, practice, maintain practice. So if we have the practice, then we'll be able to understand what the water, cold or hot, we'll be able to know. We just have to practice. We try to follow. You have to have a strong will, a determination, practice and follow the Dharma, and be close to good advisors, and Dharma friends. And then we'll be able to differentiate right and wrong, proper and deviant. So the Buddha, the word Buddha, it has nothing to do with the practice. The Buddha is just a saying. The meaning of Buddha is, the meaning of it is awakening. Is so when we awaken, that's the Buddha. So it's no, so we have this Buddha nature ready at all time. So don't try to look outside. So this has to do with believing in our own mind. I would like to add a little bit more on the question before heaven and earth. So when we okay, answer my question when I ask. Listen carefully. Okay. Don't take picture. So what you hear and you answer right away. Okay. Don't let your brain think. Okay. Listen carefully and answer right away. Don't let any gap. Before heaven and earth came into existence, what was I? Don't think about. Don't let your mind think about. All the Dharma rules, you let the mind think. And so this Dharma rule, you don't let the mind think. Don't try to So if you answer through the thinking of the mind, of the brain, it doesn't matter how logical it is, it's still now. So I ask you one more time. Just try to answer directly, right away. Don't think anything. Don't think about anything else. So just before heaven and earth, what is you? So you say don't know. There is a feeling that you don't understand, don't know. We don't really understand. We don't really know. If you say, oh, it's the state of not knowing, that is the answer. This is falling to the logic, the consciousness. This is not. Actually, our brain is very clever, very alert. It will find a solution, an answer. And we just stick with this. That's an attachment. We never get out. So we ask a question naturally. Don't try to use the brain to think. If we try to do this, it's just like the brain is like it's thirsty about the understanding, and this will make the self even bigger, the ego, be more arrogant. For Buddha Dharma, we need to have the inflow thought, the thought of inflow. And if we able to maintain the thought of inflow, we'll be able to leave behind all the worries, the afflictions. So if we can stop all the thinking, then we'll be able to our mind is very active and it's keep producing so many thoughts in 1 second. Example, like when you live in America, because you've been living in America, remember things in America, in the US. But if you go to Vietnam and visit, and if anything happened to you like in Vietnam, and if you keep thinking about things in the US, then right after you die, you reincarnate into the US right away. So the consciousness is very powerful. So when we practice, we try to get out of this powerful consciousness. So all the saying, the languages, it's just experience. So the healthy appearance or the sick appearance is within this body. So when we're sick, we see the sick appearance, but we want to get to healthy appearance, then we have to take medication. When the sickness disappears, then the healthy appearance will appear. In the perfect sutra, it mentioned about if we know that everything is false, so it's just like awakening. It's like when we are dreaming, when we awake, then everything in dream disappear. So this is just the explanation. So the practice will lead us to this the state of enlightenment. So on the practice, we already have chosen before heaven and earth came into existence. Where was I? So like now, you want to study or learning Buddhism. So just try to stay with only one path and try to practice. So you practice until you get to the state of diligent. Be diligent. You cannot be able to let go. It doesn't matter what comes. You don't let go of the practice. So this is also have consider I thought of taking but and that seriously. So if we just go after the appearance, forms, everything outside from our mind, and that is just so like for ourselves. So every day, what we see, and then at night we may have dream about it. So doubt is actually not knowing. Like before heaven and earth came into existence, where was I? It's not like try to subduing. It's not like to try to exert ourselves. To ask a question, just ask the question normally. Ask the question naturally. Right now, because our mind, we not really believe in our own mind yet. We believe in our consciousness. And this is the habit, the self-attachment. So it doesn't matter how much we say. We still believe in the consciousness. So if we want to believe in our own mind, we have to have the practice. When we believe in our own mind, then and the practice will be able to exchange for anything for the practice. Just ask the question sincerely, wholeheartedly. So when you ask a question, like pay attention to. So just like you babysitting your sister's kids, you pay attention to her kids. Like when see so for a long time ago, we keep paying attention to the outside of our mind. We keep chasing all kind of things. But now we ask a question to go back to the asking the question give rise to a doubt, and it will lead us to the origin of the consciousness. And then when we get there, it will cut itself. And the state we got enlightened and will be free and at ease. So, is there any question? You can still bring it up.
Thì cái tâm của mình hồi giờ mình cái chiếu ra ở bên ngã chấp, chiếu ra bên ngoài, thì giờ mình lại chiếu cố thoại đầu, tức là chiếu vào cái, rồi cái bên ngoài là mình đã không gì hết đó. Thoại đầu cũng là cũng có danh từ thôi, chiếu cố thoại đầu. Thì đến thoại đầu á là chỗ cái nguồn gốc của ý thức, chính cái nghi tình này nè, nó sẽ cắt đứt cái nguồn gốc của vô minh ý thức đó. Thì khi mà cắt đứt được cái nguồn gốc đó, lúc đó mình sẽ biết rõ được chính mình, làm chủ được chính mình, được tự do tự tại. Yeah.
We only have 2 minutes left. We will do the walking meditation for 15 minutes. And then sitting 30 minutes. So just try to maintain the practice. Then we'll be able to share. Just don't sit there and just try to reason about this Dhamma. It doesn't matter how much you can reason. It doesn't matter. So when you practice, then you'll be able to ask and share, and then you will be able to understand and have a clear path to practice. So on the practice, we remember no having no desire, no attending, and no fear. So now we continue to do the walking meditation. And then we come back, we sit for 30 minutes. Namo Sakamuni Buddha.